Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today on Monday. So had like a pretty good weekend. It was still like 20% less than like a super crazy weekend. But if we had this all the time, I really wouldn't complain. All right, first up, we also had a return. I still have to pick it up. I still like to check the returns. I don't just like see the notification and just automatically refund the money. I have to see if they actually sent me the item back and if it's the same item in the same condition. I think it was another PC game. I actually don't remember right now. All right, I'm just gonna jump right into it. The first thing right here is someone bought 3 Munchkin promos. So these are going to be just promos for the Munchkin board game or like a card game by Steve Jackson Games. 2 door cards and then a treasure card, Clockwork Dragon, Hostile Jester, and Dracolic. This is just like a satirical card game based off of like D&D, where you're trying to get your character, your Munchkin, to level 10. These promos end up going for, I guess they paid at different times, so 11 plus 12 plus 6, so that's going to be $29 right there for 3 cards, which is pretty good. We actually noticed a couple people were messaging us that they couldn't get these like shipped out. Some normally it was like with international buyers, so we thought that was just like that's an issue we have sometimes. This time someone said it says you're not shipping to Texas, and we were like, okay, what's going on? So we looked into our listing. I had some very old listings for these Munchkin promo cards where when they introduced standard eBay envelope, I was actually allowed to do it in non-card categories. So I was putting the Munchkin cards in the board game category, like contemporary, and it still allowed me to do the standard envelope. At some point that they must have taken that away, but because I was still doing like anytime one of these would sell, I have multiples of each of these, I would just like relist it. It was actually like it kind of like locked in that old standard eBay envelope listing price, and they must have fixed it recently with all like their updates from their eBay Open. So I had Netta actually went in and she like changed everything to be like in the trading card category, so then we can do eBay standard envelope because most of these cards we have for $20 or less. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting story. There's like weird. It was like the one time like a bug was kind of like in our favor. So moving along, we have this first edition book, Cross and Crescent. This sold when I was at the storage unit, The Story of the Crusades. Really cool art right over here. It's a hardcover book. There's a little bit of wear. I think this one's from 1967. So we get a lot of these historical military books, and then they end up doing super well for us. This one went for $26.60. So a lot of books today. Speaking of books, well, this one's the strategy guide, Age of Empires. That's a classic. I played a lot of that when I was a kid. I didn't really know what I was doing. This is going to be all over the place as usual for Monday. Unofficial strategy guidebook right here. I occasionally get like a medium amounts or uncommon amounts of these strategy guidebooks, so I'll grab them. Sometimes they're like not like super crazy expensive ones, but I always grab them. I do like them. The strategy guidebooks, $13. I think it's just something that and I like. We like the video game magazines and strategy guidebooks. We like to like go through them, so other people do too. So that's a pretty classic PC game where you're building up your civilization. You have to take out the other person. It's an RTS game, real-time strategy, which means you're kind of doing everything in real time, and you're usually either against like an AI computer or you're against like another real-life opponent in multiplayer. All right, moving along. This thing kind of changed everything I thought about eBay. There's just like certain times or memories or items that I've picked up that have changed everything. So this is a lot of 3GSC, these like corn little profit books. I think they're used by farmers to keep track of like their little crops, how much money they're making. There's a lot of like little graphs and stuff inside these notebooks, or someone just likes collecting the ephemera, or someone just wants like some unique different notebooks. I have a bunch of different notebooks that I use for like board games and stuff too, so I'll pick up unique stuff. So this was at like a storage unit flipper. When we were doing part-time, Anetta grabbed a bunch of stuff from them, and I was kind of like down at the time. I'm like, I don't know what this is. She's like, no, just list it, go ahead and list it. So I listed everything, and it kind of like expanded what I was thinking about for eBay. So then she also got a lot of other paper ephemera products, and they were selling like just constantly. We're still selling some stuff from this person 4 years ago, 5 years ago, literally like beginning of our part time. And I think we spent like $75 on like everything, and we're still selling stuff. So unfortunately, I started recording when we were at like the back end of all this stuff. So it's kind of like I wouldn't say scraps, but just like, a lot of it's already sold. So it's like the last 10, 20% that we have. So these corn books kind of like expanded that people like ephemera. They like collecting these things from different companies. They like collecting stuff you can write on, just like paper products and stuff that have brands. People do like it, and this was the I remember that was the how do I want to say this? That was the sale or whatever that we bought stuff, or that changed my mind on it all. So yeah, it really expanded my mind. Like when I was first doing eBay, at first I just thought it was gonna be, a couple things that I liked. I thought popular stuff like pop stuff would be good, but then it's like realized there's a lot of that kind of stuff out there. So then figured out that there was like niches, and honestly, like I know I'm always on the screen here talking, but and that is like a huge part of why we're even successful doing this full time. So like stuff like that, where she's introduced me to this whole world of like other items and just expanded on what to look for, really does play like an important part of where we are today. All right, next up is going to be Cthulhu Death May Die. This is going to be just one of the player mats boards. This was really hard to store because if this gets bent, this is going to not be good anymore. But this game, I haven't played it. I know there's a bunch of expansions. It's by Cool Miniature or not, and I think it's going to be like a dungeon crawler, meaning you're going to pick some investigators and then you're going to go through some kind of dungeon, get experience, level up your characters. There's going to be monsters. I don't know if the monsters are run by like a little deck of cards or if like another player gets to play the Cthulhu overlords and stuff like that. But yeah, people like it. I just don't like the realm, or I'm just like, it's not that I'm like more neutral on the Cthulhu stuff and like the Arkham stuff. It has to be really well done for me to like it. So that's always recommended to me when I'm looking up board games, because I like dungeon crawlers, but I'm like, nah, I already have enough. That one board went for $15.99. All right, next up is something completely different. This can be a belt buckle. I put it in this box, but I didn't put the box in the listing because it has just like, I don't know, some like dry liquid damage. So, and it doesn't have the brand on this box. So I was actually struggling looking for this at the storage unit just because I had it in the box. I'm like, where is it? This is Grand Old Opry since 1925, Nashville, Tennessee. Just like a belt buckle. This one still has like a seal on it. This ended up going for $39.99. This is also like in that realm when Annetta was picking up other stuff that I just wasn't aware of. I remember the state sale that we got this from. We got a couple of belt buckles. We sold a couple of them in this one. I think we spent like 50-ish or 75 on a bulk pile from someone that we had constantly going to their estate sale. So they were giving us better prices the more you go and show up. So yeah, $40 for that's pretty good. Someone's going to appreciate that. I wonder if people like that collect belt buckles, if they actually use them or if they just kind of like store them or hang them up somewhere. So I haven't seen like a full belt collection or belt buckle collection. I'm sure there's different ways people collect them. I'm just curious. Next up is going to be Merchant's Cove, the Entertainer. This is going to be an expansion pack for like a Kickstarter game. I think this was probably like a Kickstarter extra, meaning you would have had to have prepaid for the game on the Kickstarter website and then eventually get bonuses as they ship the game in 1 or 2 or 3 years. This game I haven't played, but it was kind of popular. It didn't look like my style, but I think Merchant's Cove is everyone's playing like a different character in a cove, right? So you have like ships and stuff, but like the whole thing is about trading. So someone might have access to some abilities of one resource where someone else has access and abilities to another resource, and you're gonna be working towards like getting points to win the game. But yeah, this ended up going for $24.99. It's going to add extra stuff to the game. All right, moving along. I haven't sold a playing card deck in a while, but I also haven't listed any and haven't gotten any in a while. So that just means as I'm selling them, there's less I have. This is a company called Anglo. This is like a Swedish company that made these playing card decks. Really good playing card decks. I got a bunch of these. I didn't know what they were at first. I just like the back designs. This one's a rainbow, but there was like all these different kind of designs. Very well done. Like they were open, but basically looked like someone opened them and never used them. This pack ended up going for $21.60. Also got all those cards before starting on YouTube. So I think I only have like maybe one left or something. It was crazy to see that sell again today. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Those were really cool. I like people appreciating playing cards. Next up is going to be Dodo's Riding Dinosaurs board game. Never played it. I think it's a relatively new one in the past few years. This is Babby and Cucks right here. This is going to be an extra little dinosaur for the game. It's missing the miniature. It still has like the rules card and it had like something else. Like, yeah, I think it just has like the cards in there. So this ended up going $7 international. Even has the K for Kickstarter. So yeah, it's literally these dodo birds riding dinosaurs. I think it's like a racing game. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say it's more family oriented, kid oriented, but I'm sure adults can still play it. It's just that not my style of racing or whatever, but I like dinosaurs, and it's like a good thematic game, or at least when I look at it, like the art matches, I'm sure the gameplay matches. I like games that are just well done, well rounded, if that makes sense. Everything's like polished. Moving along, we have this brochure. This is also like in the time period where Netta was grabbing a bunch of that stuff, and then I learned that ephemera and stuff like that's good. Vintage Zagreb right here from Croatia. This is going to be like a fold-out map. I'm not going to fold it out all the way. Let's see if I can do like just a little bit, something like that. So really well done, like map. People love collecting this kind of stuff. This ended up going for $10. All right, next up is going to be like a little Halloween costume. Someone's probably using this for Halloween. Legends of the Wild West right here. This is going to be, which one is this? This one says a Marshal of Deadwood, lawman badges. So you got a bunch of these. Yeah, I feel like I do usually sell these around like Halloween. So someone just wanted probably a cheap badge for their kid. It's like pretty decent quality for like a costume thing. I don't know what this is from, Legends of the Wild West. I don't know if this is like supposed to be an accessory to a board game. Who knows? All right, $6.91. Nothing crazy. Moving along, we have this. This is the Shining. This is just like a little poster thing with the little twins right here. Unfortunately, as you can tell, this thing got bent. I listed it as such. It's like very clear in my listings. It does have this like, I don't know if this is Ultra Pro, but like kind of like a protective cover. So I'm sure if you take this out and flatten it out, it should be good. But this ended up going for $13. This was actually a gift that I got for, I think, my mom the first year of Christmas, because my mom loves horror movies, but then she didn't really need or want any of like the posters and stuff. So this went back to us, and now I'm selling it for $13 on eBay almost 5 years later. All right, next up is going to be this Lord of the Rings trading card game. Super cool. It's a little deck box. It has like one of the leaves up there. I don't know what the symbol is for Lord of the Rings. I'm sure it's one of the factions. I'm just being stupid. Like, I like Lord of the Rings, but I know there's like crazy deep lore to it. So when I'm watching it, I'll like look up stuff, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, I remember that parts or bits. So yeah, this is just for the card game. Deck box holds a bunch of cards. It does have a lot of wear around the edges, but it's ended up going for $9.50. That's probably, someone's probably gonna use it just as a deck box or card storage. Moving along, we have these World War II micro armor. I think they're 6mm miniature. There's like these lots I made of the holes of the tanks and then the turrets for the tank tops. They got 3 packs. This is a person that keeps coming back and back for some more. This ended up going for $37, so it's super nice to have like a repeat buyer occasionally grabbing stuff like that. So doing really well with the miniature. This is also, I know I say this time and time again, I've had at least 20, 30, 40 messages about how like this is, I'm overpricing it. It's not going to sell. Website sells them for a quarter, and then they give you $50 for buying. No joke. Like, people like try to tell me about prices all the time, and then I've probably sold like $1,000 of the GHQ stuff like at this point, and I have a bunch more. So it's just such. I know a lot of people get those messages too. I will, like, when I get the messages, if I'm like super unsure about something, I will check it up real quick. Like, I had this expansion pack for Munchkin. It was incomplete, but for Munchkin, incomplete doesn't really matter because they're kind of like these cards you added into the door deck or the treasure deck. Having like partial cards doesn't matter versus like complete or incomplete. I probably explained that wrong. So someone was trying to get it for like $5, and I was like, and they sent me like 7 paragraphs of text about how it was like only worth $5, if that. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look it up right now and make sure like I didn't do crazy pricing. I had it for 28, but I sent like an $18 offer, so I was sending a lot less. And there was only 2 listings. There was also another incomplete one for 55, and then mine for 28. So I was like, yeah, I'll check it out, but usually I ignore those messages, and then the stuff sells. Next up is going to be this Ultra Pro Elspeth. This is going to be an 80 count card box for Magic the Gathering. For people that play Magic the Gathering, they probably grown because most people play Commander these days, which you need a bigger deck box to store your deck. People still play other types of Magic the Gathering formats, Legacy, Standard, Modern. I'm not even sure what else they have at this point. I haven't been keeping up a track on it. Frontier, do they even Frontier anymore? This ended up going for $12. That's a pretty good one. Elspeth's like a character. She's in the white realm. White, blue, black, red, green are the magic colors. So she's going to be a planeswalker, which is kind of like their characters. So that's from, I think, the Shards of Alara Elspeth. So that's from a bit ago, mid 2000s. Moving along, we have this damaged right here, Champions, Enemies 2 book. So the damage on this, which is like officially termed damage by like selling standards and eBay standards, when you look at the conditions, the person actually nicely colored in all of the actual superheroes, because this is like a black and white role-playing game book, so like they did a good job. So I made sure to do a lot of pictures and explain that, like, yeah, there's still a little bit of wear on like the corners and the edges, but like it's someone like did a good color pencil of all the heroes and or villains inside. So I thought that was super cool. It still only sold for $5, but I did have to list that as damage. I even put in the title because I wanted people to like look into it and see the pictures. So I'm glad someone's going to appreciate it, and that might be damage to someone else just because I think it's cool because it's like neatly colored penciled in. That still might be damage to someone else. It's just like one of those weird things. You have to go by the rules of the categories and like what a general seller and buyer would consider damage, right? Moving along, we have this Great War. It's kind of already in a baggie. This is going to be World War II. It's like a British Army pack. These little, I think they're going to be 2mm miniatures or 4mm. So there's a bunch of them. There's literally like 100 or 200 of these figures in here. $20. I remember someone asked a long time ago. They said, "How many figures are in that bag?" And like it's new, so I didn't want to like open it up and count. But I was like, I don't know. I'll send you some more pictures and I'll do my best. But like the packaging didn't say how many miniatures were on it. We do pretty well selling the World War II miniatures, Napoleonics. What else do we sell of those? I'm not too sure right now. All right, any of the wars, honestly. Moving along, we have a Dungeons and Dragons, actual Dungeons and Dragons. This is 5th edition, Dragon of Ice Spire Peak right here. This is going to be a adventure module. I think this came in one of the starter sets. So this is literally going to be a full-on adventure. It's like a pretty thick one. It's not like the crazy $30-$40 books, but this ended up selling for $23.99. So that's pretty good for this one. This one came out a bit ago at this point. I still remember this. They were handing out, like, there was these preview sheets for these that stores would be handing out. This is not the preview sheet, but this is the full adventure. So yeah, someone's going to use that to play with their players. Also like an ice dragon at the end. Next up is going to be a menu. This is going to be a more modern one. This is like a wall scroll menu. So this is pretty cool for a company called Double Dragon, which is a Chinese restaurant in Illinois. This ended up going, oh, hi. You almost never joined me. Hello? Okay, you want to see? Look what it sold. All right. $9.60. This buys it. Oh, you got your Tifis out. What's going on? All right. This is what gets you food. Yeah. This is how we buy you food. All right. Next up is going to be these right here. Goosebumps board game, Shrieks and Spiders game. Super cool. I love Goosebumps. Annetta loves Goosebumps. Very nostalgic for me. Really cool board game. It's missing, I think, the spiders. It's missing 2 spiders, but yeah, this is gonna be like one of those grungy board games. It's more of a collector piece, honestly, at this point. Like I think the cards and all the separate stuff is like art pieces are more exciting than the game. But who knows? Maybe someone's gonna play this by Parker Brothers. Yeah, that's a really cool one. I was sad it didn't go for too much. When I picked it up, I thought, oh, maybe that might be worth something. But it's just my nostalgia there. But all right, next up is going to be these minifigs. I sold like a set of it has a label like BBNDC, so I'm not too sure what like the label stands for, but yeah, this is going to be a pack of miniatures going to a repeat buyer. I think it's the person who bought a couple of these last week. This ended up going for $17.60. I think these are Napoleonic miniatures. No, I put down Sepoy Cavalrymen, India, 1970. Someone must have messaged me what they were, because that's another thing that when people message me on like some of the military miniatures and stuff, if I have a wrong title and someone tells me like, hey, this is what the tank is, this is what the infantry unit is, I kind of just like take their word and just change it. I will still quickly like look up like the troop or the tank just to see if they're correct. There was one time someone was not correct, so moving along, but it is really helpful when people do that. We have this. This is going international. This is a pretty cool one. This is a first printing Silverwolf Games arena character sheets for, I think this, yeah, this, I'm not too sure what this one is. Like an older thing that I get when I get like the older RPG stuff. It's ended up going for $28.80. So you open it up, it's a lot of different character sheets or stuff to fill in. So it might be for either an RPG or maybe like a computerized RPG game. So that's why someone's picked it up for $28.80 and going international. It says it's from 1986. Moving along, more D&D stuff. Well, kind of. It's like all these like side things. Not all side things, just a lot of D&D stuff. We have 10 packs of these Dice Masters. This is the Battle for Faerun set. They did do some Dungeons and Dragons. It's a little game where you get some dice and then you get some cards and there's rarities. And then their appeal this is by a company called WizKids, was they were selling $1 packs, so that you're supposed to go in a store, get $1 packs. It started with Marvel and then eventually went to DC, Yu-Gi-Oh, Ninja Turtles, D&D. I know there's gonna be some other stuff that I can't think of, but their launch of the game was kind of botched because they were like talking about it for a year or so at different conventions and open houses and stuff like that. But when the game came out, they didn't have enough product actually to sell to people. So it was like not the dungeons, the Dice Masters Marvel stuff was super hard to get in the first year. So the hype kind of like passed by and then people moved on to other games. But this one, I don't know if it's co-op or if you're still dueling. Normally the game is 2 players. You roll your dice and then like you attack and you're trying to bring down the person's life points. Kind of like a Magic the Gathering type of game. But these 10 packs went for $11.19. And then I relisted another 10 because I have like a bunch of that. All right. Moving along, we have Sedition Wars. This is going to be, I couldn't figure out what character it is. It's like a lady. She has like an assault rifle in one hand and almost like a broadsword in the other, like kind of like a slightly curved one. Sedition Wars is by Full Miniatures or not, some kind of like sci-fi game. I've been getting a bunch of like the miniatures and bases and stuff. So like I know what they are now at this point. Never played the game, but yeah, this ended up going for $14. I don't think they're still making stuff for it now, but I could be wrong. All right, next up is going to be this behind me. Let's see if I can grab it. Let's do this. Still shocked that my one cat's chilling out right here. Our cats aren't normally like snuggle cats. All right, next up is going to be this right here. This is the 2021 Costco tin pack. So 2 Pokeballs with 3 packs and a coin in them. You got the treasure chest, DV treasure chest, which has, I think, 5 packs, stickers, pencils, little binder sleeves, I think, and then 3 promo cards. Got a bunch of these. I'm only down to, I think there's 2 more after this one. Yeah, 2 more after this one. This ended up going for $90. So that's pretty good. Pokemon is just like super crazy popular. For people that like don't know any of this nerd stuff, Pokemon has been and always is like a hot product across the board. So that doesn't mean everything is $90. It doesn't mean everything's super expensive, but like it is a very, very popular IP. I can't understate it. So all right. Next up is going to be this right here. This is WizKids again. This is going to be the Mech Warrior game. This is going to be like this character is really big. This mech is like really huge. This is normally not how big one of the characters are, but this is one of the mechs. Their name is Derek Hasbani. So it's his miniature right there. It has all the little dials on the bottom. You pick like a faction, you pick some points. And this is like a dossier. I'm not too sure what the dossiers are. It's for this particular character, so I listed the dossier separately. I don't know if this is just for lore. I don't think there's like rules in it. Yeah, I don't see any rules. I think it's just for lore and collecting. So it was 18 plus 8. So yeah, $26. It's slightly less than 26 because it wasn't exactly 8. That's going international. So yeah, I do pretty well, usually lotting up the Mech Warrior stuff by their faction, their tanks, their little infantries. But this time some of the unique ones, which are considered like the rares in the packs, I listed separately. We have this game right here, War in the Gulf PC game. Don't know anything about this one. It's sealed. I like to grab up all the military games and books and stuff like that. People like them and the old PC games. This one's still sealed, $7 for that one. Looks like some kind of either strategy game or like a action/simulator game. Doesn't really say in the back. All right, and then last, or 2 items, I guess, because I forgot there was a Mercari sale. We have this right here, which is going to be Napoleon's Campaign in Poland, hardcover book, super popular with the books like this weekend. Like I have a good amount of books listed and still some more to work on. But yeah, this ended up going for $9.59. And then on Mercari, someone got White Dwarf issues 452, 456, and 459. These are the newer ones, not as good as the older ones, I believe. Sometimes these will have like little decals or poster inserts. These ones I had that don't really have any inserts, but they're just a magazine for Warhammer where you just go ahead and you like read different scenarios people have made and created, different like crazy paintings of like the professional painters of the game. Like you can tell how like highly detailed and professional that one is. So people like the magazines. There's a bunch of those magazines. Some of the old ones are really good too. I always like doing lots. So I think that's everything. All right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to help support us, take a look at the shop down below. Hi. How you doing? I have to get up. I'm sorry.